Hi, Stitchy friends. Welcome in and happy Memorial Day. Good to have you with me again. I realize it's been a little bit of time since my last video. It's been actually a month. There are a number of reasons for that, and if you bear with me a minute, I'd like to try to explain and apologize. 2 weeks ago, when I should have been filming episode number 6, which this is, of Stitching Bunny. Usually I do this on Saturday, Sunday, whatever, when I have time. Saturday evening, we found out that one of our favorite doggies in the whole world, not one of ours, but somebody that Rob and I took care of for years, had passed very suddenly, and we both took it pretty hard. It's a friend in my town here, and she needed somebody to walk her pup for her. She worked quite a distance away from home, just moved into the town here, and it was she was an older dog at the time, 8 or 9, I'm not sure. But anyway, she needed a break every day at lunchtime so that, by the time Mom got home, she wasn't, just beside herself waiting to go out. So anyway, I took the job and took care of her for a number of years. And then a couple of months ago, when Stitching Bunny bags got busier and I was spending more time sewing, my husband took over the walk so that I'd have more sewing time and didn't have to get dressed and go out and, walk her and come back and lose a couple of hours of stitching time. So anyway, her name was Nexty. She was a chocolate lab, and probably one of the greatest dogs I've ever had the pleasure to know and spend so much time with. So she's gone, and just want to say that we miss you next, and we'll see you again. She's now with her daddy, and all of his other dogs, and all of my other dogs, we feel. And actually, Nexty was paramount in getting my Stitching Buddy and I together. Her grandma is Valerie, who is my best stitching buddy. I think we're saying buddy. Sorry, Val, my stitching buddy. And we try to get together once a week when I have time in between the sewing. So anyway, that's how I met Val. She now lives in town here too. She's living with her daughter, so very convenient. We're a little bit too close together, it's too easy for us to say, yeah, come on over. We'll stitch for a while when I should be, doing my sewing. But anyway, that was the beginning of it. And then by the time I was ready to record on Sunday, I just didn't have it in me. I couldn't be perky, and I just, So Sunday didn't work. When I did get around to maybe Monday or Tuesday after that, thinking I better, record a video, I had technical problems, horrible technical problems. I have been recording on my cell phone, and never had a problem before. You saw in the past that I had some pretty lengthy videos out of the first 5, and for some reason my phone would let me record between 10 and I think the last one was maybe 18 minutes, and then it would just shut itself off and say, recording time has expired. And it would just happen, at any given time. I wasn't sure why, what. So by the time I was trying to do this a 4th or 5th time in a row and start the camera again and try to repeat everything I had started to say for the 5th time, that I just was frustrated and said, I just have to figure out what's wrong with this. So doing a lot of research, we find out that the Samsung phone has a tendency to do this. The camera's not really set up for recording for an hour and a half. I had it set on high def, which I didn't realize, and that eats up the battery and heats up the phone. So that shut itself off for that. When I found that out, I changed the setting. Didn't do any good. Told me to turn the phone off, restart it. That didn't work. So then we purchased a little video camera, and we thought that was going to solve all the problems. Well, it took a while for that to get here. I got it, just played with it for a couple of days to make sure I knew how to work it, how to start it and end it, so that at least, it wasn't so awkward. Had it figured out, was ready to record, and I just did a test video first, and I thought, well, I better try to download this and see, how that's going to work, what it sounds like, an actual video. Well, when I went to do that, I found out that I couldn't download it to my phone, that I had to download it to a computer, which we no longer have. My husband and I both have laptops, and neither one of them are really in any type of working order. They're both old. We don't use them anymore. So I couldn't use the video camera. So last resort, my husband kept saying, you've got to make another video, especially because I have my sale coming up, which we'll talk about later. But my June 1st sale is coming up for stitching bunny bags, and people were asking me about that. I hadn't been online to, people were wondering what happened. So my last resort was, well, I'm going to try recording on my tablet. And it's a Samsung also, but I haven't heard that there's any camera problems with this. I haven't recorded anything too lengthy. What am I at now? Like 6 minutes. So far, so good. If this all of a sudden just blacks out, I don't know what we're going to do to try to, get another video up. But let's quit talking about all of this stuff that you probably aren't the least bit interested in. But I did want to apologize. I never meant for it to go this long without reaching out and telling people that, there were issues, and, I was going to do another video. So I am very sorry. I'm back. Hopefully this will work. We'll get back on our every 2-week schedule, and we'll be fine. So let's jump into what we want to hear about, and that's cross stitch rather than my difficulties in my life. I think we should start off. I have 2 whips, actually. One's a new start that you're going to be very impressed with, that I actually did, start something. And the other one, I think, was a whip the last time I did show you. It was just barely started, though. I think it just had the border in. And I've done quite a bit on that. So let me start off first with this whip, which is the new start that I had. I'll show you the chart. This is Try to Mark Well by the Scarlet House. And this is the one I mentioned that my mom and I shared a birthday. And it's coming up in June. And I realized a couple weeks ago that this would have been my mom's 100th birthday. So I thought it was time to do something to, little, memory of my mom. I love my mom dearly. We were very close. She's been gone for 8 years now, and it still isn't easy. I still find myself wanting to talk to her, picking up the phone and then thinking, oh, wait, I can't do that. Mom's not there anymore. So this is to my mom. I'm going to do it exactly the way it is here. We're both tomato lovers too, so this was just a given. And I wanted a little marking sampler that was something I could put my mom's name in, her birth date and death year for her as a memorial. And I think this is, going to be the easiest. And I'm really liking that this is a black sampler. I've never stitched a sampler in black. So it's a black with the tomato. Makes it a little bit more lighthearted, I think, than it being a memorial sampler as such for a person that's passed. So this is a chart. Originally, I was going to do this in 103. There's only 5 colors. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 colors. I had 1 or 2 of them in the 103s, and I had to order the other ones. And somewhere along the line, I either forgot or, sent an order through without remembering to put those on there. Needless to say, they didn't come. So I just pulled the corresponding, called, or not really called for, they were called for 103, but this was the corresponding DMC colors that they suggested. So that's what I decided to do, because I wanted to get it started. I'd like it done, if possible, for our birthdays. And even have it finished, which is really high hopes for me. But we're going to see. If there's anybody I would do something like this for, it would have been my mom. So I'm going to try my hardest to get it done. Anyway, these are the colors of the floss. Nothing really, earth-shaking. It's 2 reds for the tomato, the green for the stem, the black, and, white for a little bit of the decoration that's in the tomato. So that's it. Although I do also have my little bling, that's tomatoes. Yeah, just a given. This is stitched on 40 count white clay by Fox and Rabbit. And this is my start and how far I've gotten on it. And I'm really sorry. I originally, 2 weeks ago when I was originally going to do this video, These were all pressed, and they've been pressed several times in between because I was going to start this video. And I finally got tired of doing that, and because every time I pressed it, I would take it out at night and stitch on it. This is crazy. So today I thought that's probably a bad omen. I'm not even going to press them, so I didn't. So forgive me for the wrinkles. But I thought, if anything might help get this video to work, it would not be, jinxing it with pressing my works in progress. So it's not pressed. But anyway, my tomatoes going in. I'm really enjoying the black sampler. It's probably something, I'm going to have to be adding into my sampler collection later on. I know there's some beautiful ones out there. Wasn't anything I'd ever, really thought about. I love red samplers, but I never thought the black was that appealing till I start stitching on this. And I just love it. So little tomatoes going to be filled in. That's pretty much the size of them. And then all the other lettering around it, the rest of the alphabet. And then I've just put my mom's name and the dates on that bottom line. So that's how far I am on that one. Now I have one other WIP, and this is the one I had started. And since I've really been in the mood, for the memorial samplers and, that type of thing, I thought that it was time for me to work on this next one, because this is a dedication piece. It's not a sampler, but it's a dedication piece. And it's dedicated to all of you ladies out there. My Flosstube friends that I have met online through doing this. Some ladies that I have known in the past, but again, pretty much just through Facebook. Haven't really met many of you ladies, which I hope someday to rectify. I'd really like to, I'm trying to get this on my board. I'd really like to get back into being able to go to a retreat now and then, especially the country sampler one, since that's down the road from my house and wouldn't involve any airfare or hotel fees or any of that stuff. It would be ideal. But couldn't do it this year, and we'll see. But anyway, getting back to my stitching again. I'm just off on tangents, so hang in there, ladies. I hope you got yourself something to drink and you're stitching on something, so this isn't so much of a, all over the place Flosstube. So this is it. Let me show you my chart. There's more stories that go, oh, I'm sorry. There's another story that goes with this one. Bear with me here a minute. I didn't do a good job on clipping this one. When I showed this to my husband, I told him I was going to do it because he thinks this Flosstube is like the greatest thing. And I said, this is like all going to be all my Flosstube buddies. And he says, well, are you actually going to, make the ladies look like your cross-stitch friends? And I said, no, I don't think so, because I'm not a designer. I'm not really, keen on trying to change them and then, not have them look right. He said, well, you at least have to make one of them you. I go, okay, I can do that. But I did have to change one of the ladies because they're all in dresses, and there's no way. I'm in sweatpants and my bunny slippers when I stitch. So we picked this lady, the little lady in pink. Let me kind of get the glare off of there, because it looked like that one would be the easiest to change. And she did have graying hair, so I thought that's, another given. So we changed her. Oh, first of all, I only had the border in when I showed you this last time, 4 weeks ago. So it looks like I've done a lot, but it has been 4 weeks, so I should have done a lot. We changed this one to me. And Rob says, I said, I can change her into sweatpants and the bunny slippers, because there's no way I'm going to be in a dress. So I did change her, did put my favorite gray sweatpants on her, and she does have bunny slippers on with bunny ears that are lazy daisies, because I couldn't figure out on such a small piece how to get those bunny ears on there, and she had to have ears. So there's my bunny slippers and my sweatpants. And then one of my viewers commented that, since she's holding a sampler, that it'd probably be a really good idea to, put a little small bunny in the sampler. That's a great idea. I'm surprised my husband didn't come up with that. Although he probably would have had I given him more time. But there we go. I went through some of my sampler motif books and found a nice little bunny that would fit in there. So there's even a bunny in her sampler. So that's me. And then we've got all the other ladies coming through. I'm on lady number 5, and there's one more after her. And she's pretty much set up. She doesn't have feet. Her dress goes to the floor, so I just have to fill her in. And in her one hand, she's holding a hoop, a little hoop with her piece in it. So that'll be a quick one. And then the last one, oh, here's a chart. The last one, the ladies, oh, she's just in a little green dress. She doesn't look like she would take too long. So hopefully, by the next time we have a video in 2 weeks, hopefully I'll have this one done. So that's my Flosstube friends, and thank you, all of my Flosstube friends out there, for all of your sweet comments, your encouragement, your just the nicest things that you've said, and questions, comments, always welcome. I love reading them. My husband loves reading them. So please continue to do that. But I am just very, very fond of all you ladies and taking the time to, first of all, watch my videos, and then to be nice enough to comment on them. It's an amazing feeling. So I thank you all for that. So that was my second work in progress, and that was it for my 4 weeks of stitching. But, life happens. There's been other things going on, too, so it's been a whirlwind. And we finally have nice weather. I hope you've enjoyed your Memorial weekend, your 3-day weekend if you work, and if you're retired like me, and just look forward to having pleasant weather. We've had gorgeous weather the 3 days. Madison, Wisconsin has a Bratfest every year on Memorial weekend. And it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Friday is the big day with Take Your Brat to Work Day. So people from offices and businesses all over come in and order, hundreds of these and take them back to work. My husband and I and my friend Valerie went Friday afternoon after the lunch crowd was gone. And spent some time there. They have live bands. There are 3 stages, and it's grown over the years. It used to be originally when we moved up here 20 years ago, it was just kind of getting established, and it was in a grocery store parking lot, and it's really expanded since then. So it's a great time. Excuse me. And other than that. It's my one time to go out during the summer where it isn't normally 99 degrees. It's been in the low 70s. The sun's been out every day. The festival is doing fantastic, and a lot of the money goes to charity, which is always so worthwhile. So it's nice to see that people were able to get out and enjoy. So I hope you had something fun to do too. Okay, back to stitching. Don't have any finishes. I have my little notes here. Don't have any finishes this time. I guess what we can do, let me do the off the wall, because I have these pieces stacked up here, and I'd rather do them and get them back out of the way. So, because they are framed and they all have glass in them, and I'm always so afraid they're going to fall over. This week, this month, since our last video, Rob picked this one out. I have been a Santa collector for years. I love Christmas. I put up 13 Christmas trees in this little tiny house that are all decorated, and do the outside, and it's just, friends have told me that it looks like Christmas threw up in here, at Christmas time in my house. So anyway, I'm a Santa collector and a Santa stitcher, and he wanted to pick out one of my Santas that he particularly liked for this episode. So here he is. This was finished in April of 1998. I no longer have the charts. I thought just by the look of him that he was a leisure art Santa. I can't be sure of that because I don't have the chart. There is a leisure art big book of Santas. They have several Santas. And I went through that to see if it was in there, which it wasn't. And so it must have been a separate leaflet, which, it still could have been a leisure arts or it could have been somebody else. So I'm sorry that I don't know specifically who the designer was of this or who the people that released the chart were. But anyway, I think he's fabulous. Um, in particular, look at his eyebrows. He's just typical grandpa with the white hair and the big bushy eyebrows. I just love the smoke coming out of his pipe, his hat up there on the books. He's working on like an old-fashioned toy with his paint and everything there and ink. The suspenders, the blue shirt. Everything about him, I love him. So I have a wall that's the longest wall in my living room that faces out towards my picture window. And I have had neighbors stop and ask at times, what those were up on the wall, because I have 5 or 6 across that wall. And so I have to bring them in and, show them my cross-stitch collection. But otherwise, there's samplers up there. I kind of rotate. But this year, I couldn't take my Santas down. I didn't get to put up my trees because of our little Rosie. That picture window is her spot. With her being a little street dog, she is very protective of us and protective of our house. And she likes other dogs, so she wants to, converse with every dog that walks by the front of her house. And even though we're kind of in a real quiet little, subdivision here, there's enough action, dogs walking by. Everybody in the neighborhood has a dog or 2 or 3, and kids out playing and, just people walking by, deliveries being made. Makes her crazy. So when she hears something, wherever she is in the house, she'll take a run into that living room and like jump, to get up, put her paws up on the windowsill to look out and, bark, which is why she's at obedience school now. So that's where my main tree goes. And my main tree is all glass antique ornaments. And it's a 7-foot tree. It's huge. It's fat. There's a ton of ornaments on it. So I just couldn't imagine seeing that tree knocked over or even having an ornament or 2 knocked over or knocked off the tree and broken. And then having to yell at that poor dog over and over and over not to go near the tree for the whole, 2-3 months that I have it up. So we just decided not to do it this year, and hopefully, we have a better puppy next year. So because I couldn't put up all my trees, there's only one tree that was put up, tabletop tree, underneath all of those Santas. And again, it's facing out my picture window. Unfortunately, it's still up. And I think Rob cringes every time, somebody walks past the house because they can see this Christmas tree, and it's going to be June next week. But I can't take it down. So at least it's, the Santas are in the swing of things with the tree still up. So that was my Santa. That was Rob's off the wall. Again, when I was originally supposed to do this video a couple of weeks ago, everybody had started showing patriotic things. I thought, well, it's kind of early, but I thought, well, I'll show them my favorite patriotic that I've done. And now in the meantime, another 2 weeks have gone by. And it's going to be, as I said, June next week. So 4th of July or patriotic decorating is well underway. So I don't feel bad about, this being way too early to be showing anybody. This is called, let me see here. It's by Mary Gary's Sewing Cabin, and it's Millennium 2000. And I finished this on Independence Day of 1999. And I just love this piece. I think this is so cool. I don't know if it's clear enough for you to be able to read it. It does say, here, let me get it this way so I can read it. It's Judy Rubin's work began in the 223rd year of the Independence of the United States of America, Chicago, 1999, at the dawn of a new century, millennium 2000. And then I have on the bottom, rather than just putting my initials, I do have finished on Independence Day 1999. So there's that one. Sorry, these are heavy with the glass in them. Just a cute little, scene on the bottom. I think the whole attraction for this one, for me, was, the 223rd year of our independence, and the city, you were in at the time, and I just happened to finish this on the 4th of July. It's been so long, I don't ever remember if I timed it that way, if it, was close, whatever. But needless to say, it was finished on Independence Day. The other thing with this is I had some tremendous framers when I lived in Chicago, and you could tell it's old because it, double matted and all that. But what I wanted to show up closer was the frame on this. And this is actually, it is, just one frame, but it's inlaid wood between the two blue woods, and those little flags are inlaid into that tan wood in the middle. And I just think that is probably the greatest frame for a patriotic piece I have ever seen. Whether something like this is still available or not, who knows? 23 years later, I'm sure, styles change, and different things become popular, and so I'm not sure. But I just think that any type of patriotic piece you do, that frame would just be magnificent. So that was my pick for Off the Wall. And then I have a surprise piece that I wasn't expecting to show. I didn't even know that it was in the house here. My husband and I have been doing some house sorting, trying to get rid of some things in the house, and eventually we're hoping that we'll be going into something smaller and less maintenance. It's getting kind of a handful for us to take care of the house. So we'll see. But it's kind of prompted us to start doing some thinning out of the herd. We don't have children. Nobody's going to want to go through this stuff when neither one of us are here anymore. Especially if, one poor person, whether it's Rob or I, gets stuck with, having to do this. Although I did make Rob promise me when we got married. I had been widowed when I was 40, and Rob and I met and got married 3 years after that. So, Rob knew all the stories and how rough it was when I lost my first husband. And he was just a magnificent person, treated me like a queen, just like Rob does. I am a very lucky girl that I've had these two wonderful loves in my life. But this, anyway, let me get back on cross stitch. This was a piece where Rob was cleaning out some things in the garage. This is something I made for my mom. And it's not dated. It's not, don't have my initials, anything on it. My mom loved geraniums. So that was it was supposed to be like a watercolor. The framing is horrible. It was done at Michael's, and all they did was glue it to sticky board, and obviously that sticky board has dried out, and there's wrinkles in the linen, and it's a shame because it is a beautiful piece. I guess I could take it apart and try to do something with it to fix that, but because I made this for my mom, I'm almost sure that I was still living at home when I did this for her. So it was before my first marriage, and George and I got married in 79. So I would think, if anything, this was probably mid to late 70s that I did this. So I guess sticky board, is going to dry out in all that time. But Rob came across this, and he said, "Here, do you want to keep this?" I go, "Oh, yes." She loved that. And yeah, so I'm kind of I'm just going to hang it the way it is. I'm not sure that I want to mess with it. Obviously, I've told you girls before, I'm not a framer, I'm not a finisher. So to take it apart and have something happen where I couldn't get it redone, even just, pulling it off that sticky board, I don't know if it's going to, stick to the floss in the back, whether it's anchored good enough, to pull that. So I probably will just leave it the way it is. And again, it's just going to be another memory that something that my mom had that I made her, and she loved it. And, you know, something nice to make me smile every time I walk past it and think of Mom. Okay, that's our off the wall segment, off the wall and an extra segment for this time. I guess we're into what I have received the last 2 weeks. It hasn't been 4 weeks, it's only been 2 weeks. But I'm hoping that these aren't ones that I've shown before, because I kind of just throw them in my little bucket here when they come, and I know that they'll be for the next Flosstube. So I think that these are all new, but bear with me. I've also decided that this is not going to be referred to as haul, because that sounds like, I'm getting a load of gravel in my driveway. So I think a better name for this would be NAG, and that would stand for Nearly Acquired Goodies. And I kind of like that. I don't like the word, actually, but I think that's good. So without further delay, let me show you a couple of things I've picked up and ordered the last couple of weeks. First of all, this is from Jeanette Douglas Designs. It was a release at Market, I'm pretty sure. And that's Chubby Bunny. And if that isn't appropriate for me, I don't know what is. First of all, that it's a bunny. And second, that it's chubby. It's a given. So that's Chubby Bunny. Then I finally got this one. I believe that this one was a it says 2022. I thought this was a Market release too, but I guess not. And this is Summer Sweets Pin Keep for a scattered seed. I love his big strawberries. And the little guy even has a little strawberry down there. So I love him. Love birds. Found this one on the one of the stash unloading sites, I believe. It's Flea Market Souvenir by Blackbird. And it's kind of similar to the one that, oh, sorry, not supposed to show that. Kind of similar to the one that is the 3 Seasons. That, was in 3 pieces and put together. So that's what this is. It's on 3 different pieces of linen and then sewn together. So I like that one. Added that to my stash. This I know was a Market release this year, and for some reason I bought almost every Stacy Nash that came out at Market, but not this one. And I guess it was because it was just, little pin keeps, and I kind of, am pin keeped out between my quilt studio and then my stitching up here. I have an awful lot of pin keeps. But when I looked at this closer, I think this just came up on somebody's shop, and I was looking at it closer. First of all, it's called A Walk Through the Garden Pin Keep Stack. So it's 3 different pin keeps, 3 different sizes that you can stack up. But when I looked at them closer, this one's got the spool of thread. Love that. It's a bunny on this one. And the third one, I think, is just, almost looks like a Tudor Rose design, but just a floral design. And I thought, why didn't I get that? It's got a bunny, and this was a stitchy one. Everything I love. So that one I purchased. Needlework Press, I don't remember where I got this one from, but I do like to collect anything that Needlework Press does, because I do love the pieces that they decide or pick to reproduce. And this is Janet Spears 1813. And I like this because the house is so unusual. It's not the normal, fill in all the bricks and, red house. I like the funky people on there, and the berry basket and the walkway from the house. I just think that's really cool. So that's going to be in my future works in progress, I think. I had to get this one. I'm also a big fan of hats, and this was the Maria Ewin 1820, and it's a 2023 Queen of the May, which is always Nicola's special sampler that she saves every year for the Queen of the May. And this is spectacular, as all the other ones have been. but I especially like the colors in this one. I love this. I love the basket, and I love this grassy hill underneath. Border is beautiful. Great birds, great flowers, and a dog, and a bunny. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I guess it's a deer. It'd be a bunny with really long ears. So it's got my animals. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. This one, Scarlet House is another one I can't resist. When I see one that I don't have, it has to come into my collection. And this one is Sarah Elizabeth Brooke, 1842. Oh, they're sliding off my lap. By the Scarlet House. And this has got one of the greatest red houses I've ever seen. And the checkerboard path. Love that. There's some funky people in this one too. Lots of birds. Animals. There's dogs in there. Great tree. Great grass. A real simple border, but very pretty. Very effective with the busyness of the sampler. I think that border is just perfect. Perfect fit. So that one's in my to be done pile. Another Scarlet House. This is Mary Jane Kerr, 1876. And of course, this one has the bird and the dog and the flower. And I just realized this is another one that's, I don't know if that's black. I guess not. I was going to say it's another black sampler, but it's deeper colors. It's not really black. It's like a dark maroon, dark green in there. And I see right now that my lighting isn't real good with my tablet. And I don't know if it's a tablet or the fact that it's a little bit later into the evening and it hasn't really been too sunny of a day today. It's a little overcast, not too bad. Sun peeks out every so often, but it's not really bright. So I guess kind of playing games with the lighting here. So that's that Scarlet House. Then I got several of these. I had all of these originally, and when I was cleaning out how many times over the years, I pulled a lot of these and just decided to sell them and thin the herd. I was running out of space to, get any new ones, and that's not a good thing. So these are all blackbirds, and I found these on, again, one of the stash unloading groups or whatever, but it's nice to have them again. I'm hoping, if I don't get to them, that either my friend will wind up with them or somebody will wind up with them if I'm the one that goes first. Rob has orders not to send these to Goodwill, to find one of my friends or a guild or something that will want them. So anyway, to carry on, this one is The Winter Is Past. And just like Laura and Brenda always say, buy all the blackbird, and there's a reason for that. Every one of them is spectacular in its own right. Different borders on this one. The side borders are different than the top and bottom borders. Lots of birds, berry baskets, just cool stuff. So there's that one. This is a bonus pattern. Oh, I'm sorry, the bonus pattern is on the back. This is Anniversaries of the Heart Pattern 12 from Blackbird, and it's Elizabeth Jane. And that is just so Christmassy that I had to have it, of course. And I guess this is the one they're talking about. That is the bonus chart. I haven't even paid any attention, but that one's magnificent. I like the blue house on that one. So I got that. And this one is Flowers for You. And this is a birthday sampler, which I probably should be stitching for me right now. It's not really a milestone birthday, but, everyone, once you get past 70, everyone is a milestone. Just be glad you're, still here and able to stitch. So there's that one. Always great flowers. A real simple border on this one, too, but, again, it's very busy in the middle, so that's really pretty. And this is another birthday one. This is Anniversaries of the Heart Pattern number 6. And this has got great blackbirds in it. I was going to say, I don't think those are meant to be peacocks because their tails are just regular tails. So I'm assuming they're blackbirds or crows or something. But pretty colors, real pretty pastel colors. Great piece. So there's that. This one was I bought on, I think it was Stash Unloading too. Marianne's Rules for Living, and it's a reproduction sampler by Hands to Work. I'm getting a little glary here. The saying on this is really kind of hard to read, even, when you have it in your hand and it's up close, but it says, cleanliness gives comfort, sobriety brings wealth, industry yields plenty, honesty makes friends. So I think that's really cool. And two red houses, but different houses. I like that. And it's just a simple border on this one. It doesn't look like a lot of stitching. A little bit of fill in the houses, but they're tiny little houses. It's not really too big of a piece. It's 178 by 177, so very, very doable. I just really liked that. This one I bought online, and this is, let's see. How come I don't know who this is by? I can't think of the designer's name at the moment. If you want to know who it is, I'm sure it's something, put a comment after the video, and I will certainly, look it up for you. It's probably on one of the other pages in here. I'm looking at the cover page. And I got this one because it's all doggies. I had gotten, I think it's Stitch Me's Fabric of the Month, and I get the colorful one, and it's a great purple. But I thought, oh, it's not something I'm really going to put a sampler on. So I start looking at charts that were Halloween, because I love Halloween too. And I thought, oh goodness, this would be so cute on that purple. That's doggy ghosties. How could I say no? So yeah, I bought this specifically for that purple linen, and then I didn't pull out the purple linen to show you, but I'm sure you have an idea what I'm talking about. This is by Victorian Rose Needle Arts. And the name of the chart is Jane Freebairn, 1850. And I love the trees on this one. It's the old house that always draws me in. Those beautiful little houses. This one is gold color with a blue roof. So that's different than my red ones. It's these funky trees that, I don't know if those are supposed to be palm trees. Or, not quite sure, if they're just bushes, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I just love this. And all the crowns on here. I thought that was pretty appropriate for a year that we've witnessed a coronation. But very pretty chart. This one I got online too. This is the Purple Thread is a designer. And I'm also terribly hooked on anything that has to do with needleworkers, needlecraft. I have to have those all over my room. So when I saw this one, I thought, oh yeah, the home of a needleworker. Simple stitch, but something I could easily do, make into a little wall quilt, and hang it here in my sewing room. So I had to get that. Another doggy chart. This is by Stitchworks. And it's called Little Bits Dog. And the one says, dog kisses fix everything. Best things in life are furry. And life without dogs, I don't think so. Oh, really cute. And I thought that would be real cute. I am bound and determined to get myself a dough bowl or tray or something to that ilk to display some of my smalls. Halloween ones, I have a ton of them. Usually I put them up on my mantle. But I think I'd like to have somewhere I could really, see them when we're in the living room. The mantle's kind of almost behind my back. So it's not an ideal spot to put my stitching where I'm going to be able to see it when it's on display. Same thing with Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving. I have a ton of them. So I think I'd like to, spread them out kind of other places. And I love the looks of the dough bowls when the ladies show them and all their pieces in there. So that would just be cute for in between holidays. And again, another thing that's, stitching. This is called Stitching Case, and it's by Mrs. Flossie. It's a brand new one. I think this has just come out. And she's done this when she actually shows the chart itself, or the finished piece itself. She has it on top one of the jewelry boxes that all the ladies are making for their travel needle cases and things. Um, and she has it mounted on there, and it looks so cute. I probably won't do that because I have one little box I am going to finish, jewelry box, that I'm planning in my spare time um, to work on and turn that into my little, portable sewing case that I can just keep in one of my project bags, and I'm not always moving things from one room to another, and they're always in the other room from where I'm stitching. So I do plan on doing one. I just haven't had the time to sit down and decide what I want to do with it. But I think this one's really cute. So there's that one. And then last but not least, I don't know, Snowflake Diary. This is Snowflake Diaries. I don't remember if this was a purchase or a freebie. I'm sorry, I just don't remember. It is 2023. Oh, here, I'm sorry. The pattern is free to download for personal use, so it was a freebie. It's from the Snowflake Diaries. It's called Addicted to Flosstube. And I'm not sure if I got this from like a blog or if it just cropped up on Facebook. I'm not sure. My memory is getting worse and worse, I'm afraid, ladies. So I wish I could tell you. And I can't really show you too much of, I just realized that is the chart. Here, we can show you this part. That's what it looks like. I would rather be watching Flosstube. So now I'm going to have to stitch this and put this below, another piece below our stitching Flosstube friend piece that I'm working on, because this is just, it's a given. But take a look at that, if you can find it on Snowflake Diaries. I would think, it's a website or something that, she'll point you in the right direction. So that was my charts. Now I have a couple of really great pieces of haul. Now, I'm the owner of Stitching Bunny Bags, and I do make project rolls and project bags. So I have project bags all over the house. However, when I come across something that somebody else has made that I think is just spectacular, I will buy it. I will buy it. Not to reproduce it, not to copy anybody's ideas, but it's something that I want. So I have several things like that this time. This is Chris U, As the U Flies, and U spelled Y-O-O. It's As the U Flies at gmail.com. She has an Etsy shop that As the U Flies, Etsy.com, Instagram, and she has her phone number and text. I'm going to hold this up, try to keep it straight for you if you want to take a screenshot of this. Beside her, look at this little card. Isn't it the cutest thing? And she has a little note on the back. Your support of my little shop means more than you will ever know. Hugs from Northeast Ohio, Chris U. Okay, so that's the lady that did this one. I'm going to put this back in here so I remember. And this is called Stitch On. Now, this is the coolest thing. I believe it's, they're all in this fabric. I don't believe that Christine has them made. I ordered this, and it was a good maybe month or so before it came, but there was no rush on it. So I was more than pleased to wait for it. She has Stitch On stitched on a piece of, I guess it's Ada. Yes. So she does that. It also has the Stitch On little beads, says Stitch On. And when you open it, you did have a choice. There's like pretty much two sections in here, and you had a choice of several different things. If you wanted like just like a notebook section, if you wanted a calendar section, a project, kind of like our book of days, where you keep track of your projects and what you've done. So I did get that section, and then I got a section that was just plain paper, because I'm a good one with taking notes when I'm watching Flosstube, somebody will mention, show a chart and it's got an idea, and I'll jot it down because I will never remember. So anyway, the first one, oh here, I bet she has it on here. Yes, your choice is project list, which is what I have, project pages, line pages, and then she asks, you can order more inserts if you want. So this is the project list. That's the beginning of it. So you list your projects there. In fact, the one, bear with me a second here. This one, the Cross Stitch Journal, and I know they sell this. I don't know if it's an exclusive, but it's from the Fat Quarter shop. Oh, it's So Emma. So that is Fat Quarter. It's set up pretty much that way, where the beginning, you list your projects, and you start, the name of the project, the finish, when you finally finished it. So you can fill those out for each one. And then you've got your project. You actually have a page for each project where you put all the information, what it's stitched on, what flosses you used, if you changed anything, start and finish. Just, great record to keep. I mean, besides, this was so cute. This was just so cute. And then I got a section that's just the blank pages, as I said, for notes for me. But the way she has it made, it's like a stretchy rubber band that, was used to actually close the book, keep the book closed. And she has it threaded through here, and that's what the document, the little sections are threaded through that. So it's all together. It's all one piece. You pull the rubber band back up, and that holds it closed for you. If you have little pieces of paper, notes yourself, that you've stuck in there, whatever, it does keep it closed. And isn't that like the cutest thing? Love this. Absolutely love this. So I ordered that and was so pleased when it came. So that was one of my purchases. Okay. Then I also found or saw this, and I believe that I have this lady's information in here too. Give me a second. I like to give credit where credit is due, and that is definitely with this lady. Okay, this is from Andrea Caffrey, and she's at Phil, PHILAND 69, and I believe that's her. It says at, so is that Instagram or, okay, let's see if that'll focus. Okay, so she sent the needle or the thread drops with it, plus a real pretty bling for your floss tags. And this is what I purchased. This is a red paisley. I don't have any of these. I have project bags out the wazoo, but I've seen these folders, and I think this is the neatest idea. Rather than throwing everything in the bottom of a project bag, and believe me, I will still use my project bags. I love them. But if there's something in particular, maybe a chart that has several pages, you could use this to put like the back cover of the chart in here, and you'd be able to, page through. Oh, I just think that would be wonderful. And then this side is the plastic pocket. It's quilted. The back is quilted. She also sent, this was included, this little pouch, and it folds out to a flat bottom. So if you're using like the 103s or just, your regular flosses, doesn't really matter. I just thought, that flat bottom, the 103s, it probably is sitting there real nice. Your floss in here, your scissors, whatever else, you're carrying with you for this particular project, that's in there. And let me show you the back. So that's the plastic folder, and that doesn't have a pouch in back. This is the pouch part here. And then the way she has it quilted, it's it feels like it's probably the like the foam interfacing. I can't think of what it's called, but it feels like that. It might be a little bit lighter weight, but because she's stitched these 3 seams in here rather than it being, you know, stuck open. That makes it fold right in the right spots. And I love this. I am so pleased I got this. It was something where I just happened to be in Facebook at the right time, and there were 3 of them I think she had listed, and I believe this was the only one that was still unclaimed, and they were all red ones, I think. So I didn't care actually one way or the other which red one I got, but I am really happy with this paisley one. So I purchased that for myself. This is all my early birthday presents, and I said at my age, you know, whatever you want, as long as I can afford it. It's, you know, it's mine. Then I found this one. Another one. What a treasure. Let me see if I have, oh, I hope I have that lady's, oh, I do have her information in here. This is from Crab Shack Stitchery. You think I had dentures with the way I can't talk. It's www.crabshackstitchery, all one word.com. And this is her card. Okay, that's her card. And this bag, I'll show you her bag first. This is almost like a canvas. It's not a quilting cotton. It's actually heavier. So it's more like a canvas to me, or even like a duck. But it's soft. It's just that it's a heavier fabric. She's got this beautiful trim on here, the coordinating fabric, and then it's all this large floral in the back. Pretty red lining and all lined, beautifully done. It's got the little hoop out here to hang your floss on if you'd like. Came with the, oh no, I'm sorry, I put this on there, my sewing machine. Bling. And then it also had this, a smaller pouch inside, and I'm really starting to like these, because I'm always, you know, I hate sticking my floss in when I've got scissors and, you know, glasses, because I always have my cheater glasses with me. Sometimes a magnifier, sometimes, you know, who knows. But some of that stuff, you know, like scissors, they're sharp. I don't always put my scissors in a sheath. And to just stuff the floss in there, just doesn't seem right. You know, it seems like it should be kept neater. So I'm starting to really dig these little guys, because you can just put everything else in here. It's not damaging your project, your linen. You know, scissors isn't winding up poking through your linen, or heaven forbid, you know, your stitches. So that came with it too. Same great details, same fabrics. That came with it. And she also sent a nice note and said that this littler pouch was for me. You know, she sent me a freebie. She said this was a gift from her. So this is actually my very, very first Stitchy kindness. I got this. And it's a little bit smaller than this one even. But I'll find a spot to put this in my, you know, one of my project bags, because I'm liking these little guys. And I just don't have time with the sewing work that I do for the business to just make these cutesy little things for me that I have because I stitch every night. Every night, if it's for 5 minutes only, or if it's for 4 or 5 hours. I try to stitch every night if I can, unless it's, you know, very rare circumstances. For some reason I can't. But anyway, that's what I would do if I had my free sewing time to myself. Now, this is another thing that I got, that I purchased, and I happened to come across this, I believe probably, well, it was either Facebook or Instagram. I'm not sure which now, but one or the other. And this is a mystery bag of the month. And along with the mystery bag, you wind up with a pattern. I'm not sure if it's always going to be, this is from the Twin Peak Primitives. Oh, I'll show you that in a minute, but that's who the chart is from. And I said, I'm not sure if that'll be every time, or if there'll be different ones. But anyway, May mystery bag is here, and it's gorgeous fabric. I hope you enjoyed along with the chart, goodies, and enjoying a cup a cup of tea. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for the June bag. And this is Anna at Stitch Toolbox, all one word. So that was the little note inside. And I said, now this, it came with this chart. And if this isn't just me to a T, this is called Count Your Blessings. And I hope that this shows up because the colors, oh yeah, it does show pretty good. We get the glare off of there. And she's a little stitching girl. Isn't that just precious? It is me. It's me. And then she also sent in here, you get goodies besides. I got a couple of button pins. I got a needle threader. I think this is just a little stitchy piece of paper and some floss. How cool is that? And one of the best things is, look at the bag. This is the back. Oh, stitching things. I wish I could find this fabric. I have no idea what this is. This would be just wonderful for some of my project rolls and project bags themselves that match my project rolls. It's just a lovely, lovely cross-stitch fabric. And then this is the front, and her fabric inside is pink polka dots. Just looks really girly. And then she's got this great little, it's like a little suede or leather tassel. Isn't that cool? So yeah, that was for me too. I'm getting an awful lot of birthday presents for myself, if you haven't noticed. I'm really on a roll here. I did order something else for myself today. It's not stitchy really. Well, in a way it is. I'm a coffee holic. If I wasn't drinking coffee 24/7, I don't know what my personality would be like, but I love coffee. I have to have coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, and yeah. So anyway, my purchase today, my husband had gotten me, I love Starbucks, and he had got me 2 bags for one of my Christmas presents of Starbucks Christmas coffee, and one was gingerbread, and one was peppermint, maybe peppermint mocha or peppermint chocolate, something. But fantastic flavors. Of course, there are, limited editions. There were seasonal ones. And I have a tendency to stockpile bags of coffee so that I never run out. And if I'm not mistaken, he bought me a couple of each one. And I had purchased some after that so that I, was kind of cleaning up on the Christmas stock. Because I will drink, pumpkin spice and, peppermint all year long. So I finally opened up the last gingerbread one this week, and I was drinking that, and I kept telling my husband, this is so good. This is just so good. Why am I drinking this now? Because I know I can't get any more. And he told me, well, why don't you look on eBay or something? I said, I really never thought of that. I'm sure, maybe somebody had some extra left or whatever, could be selling it. So I had mentioned it again today because I was sitting in here drinking coffee with my husband, and I said, oh God, this coffee is so good. And he said, did you ever check? I said, no, I didn't. So he, of course, pulls out his phone at the same time, and he's, looking for it for me. And I said, Rob, look at this one. So it was like five packages, 5 of the, grocery size bag. Not the ones they sell in the store that are a lot bigger ones. So these are the grocery size, smaller bags of the flavors. And it was 5 of them for $35 or something. And they were in $10 or $11, $12 in the grocery store. So I thought, oh, this is a bargain anyway. So I tried, Rob, look at this one. There's 5 of them. And he's going, oh, I just happened to, he was on the same thing. He says, I was going to get this for your birthday. I thought, oh, well, I can't wait till then. My birthday's a month off. I'm going to need it before then. So anyway, that's, something else I ordered for myself. So, I think this brings us to plants. Yes, it does. I think that was everything that all of my, what did I say, nag, newly acquired goodies. I have to remember that. I'll have to write it down so we're pasting on my forehead, whatever it takes to remind me. So, these are my upcoming plans, my, shall we say, sooner rather than later plans. Of course, I'm going to be, well, I'll get to that one next. We won't go to there. This is one that's an exclusive, a limited edition exclusive from Hands Across the Sea. And it's from Needle in a Haystack. It's their 25th anniversary. So it's a stitch along from them. It was only able to be purchased from them. It's Sarah Rindle, 1841. And I couldn't resist this. The birds in the bird bath. Look at these beautiful, look at the border on this. Isn't that exquisite? The colors. Now, I'll show you this. And along with this, I want to show you, see if it's on here. Okay, the fabric that's with it is 38 count filbert. That's legacy linen. So that's the color of the linen that this is going to be on. And then it's done in 103 silks. Look at those colors for the birds and the water, oh God, in the bird bath. Besides all of those beautiful colors in those floral bouquets and in the border. Just wonderful. And the pretty little scattered flowers and leaves. It's going to be lovely. So this is on my, we're going to start this soon list. When I get, maybe those 2 whips that I'm working on now, when I get those finished, I will reward myself by being able to start another new project. Then, these are going to be summer projects. Then we have this one, which is going to be my birthday start. And, I should say that I believe that one is the stitch along. It's a stitch along from Needle and Haystack. And I believe that one's scheduled to start June 1st. So I'm hoping, well, June 1st is Thursday, so I'm not sure I'm going to have actually a day to start that one or have time to start that one, because that's when my stitching bunny bag sale is on. But if not on the 1st, I will start it sometime next week. And then my birthday start, which is obviously going to have to be in the birthday bag. Isn't that great? A birthday girl. And you know that this is by Stitchy Box? Is it Stitchy Box? Stitch. It's Berry. I'm sure you'll find it. I just, my memory, as I said, it comes and goes. Sometimes it's there. Sometimes it just totally deserts me. But this I have chosen for my birthday start this year. And I believe I showed this probably on my last Flosstube. And I'm not sure if I had decided at that point that this was going to be my birthday start. But the more I look at this, the more I think there is no way that I cannot start this. It's a chart by Wild Iris Naps. It's Mary Gibson, 1828. And this was an exclusive from Hobby House. So this is the chart with those 2 magnificent red houses. My angels, I love those angels. There's several charts that have those little angels on them, several different designers, and I just love those angels. And it says, thou faithful unto death, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. With the small alphabets on the top, these beautiful corner designs, the berry bowls on top of the houses, the trees, the floral, and then just simply signed on the bottom. Great border. It's not, anything really outrageous or, very tricky like the floral borders on the last one I showed you, but just beautiful. And she is a big girl. she is 291 by 316. So on my 38 count, she's going to be a little bit bigger than 4.5 by roughly 16. So she's going to be a big girl. A lot of stitching. And I had thought you had several options of picking the flosses that you wanted in the kit. There was the overdyeds cottons, which were Weeks Dye Works. There's a conversion for DMC. There's the Soie d'Alger, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, because this is just usage. Okay, so it's those three. It's charted for those three, and I just decided I didn't want to really use the overdyed because I didn't think that really back in the day there was no such thing as overdyed. So I didn't think that that would be too realistic. I guess, you know, it wouldn't show really overdyed. But I'm not real fond of Weeks, first of all. To me, it's thin. So with this being a 38 count, I thought, I don't know. So I decided just to go with the DMC. Awful lot of colors in this, so I, decided to stay away from the Soie d'Alger. I don't have a big selection or a big stash of those, so I knew I'd have to purchase almost all of them. Well, so it would have been with the kit anyway, so it was quite an investment for those. So I just thought, no, I know it's a beautiful piece and it does deserve silk, but any of the big ones that I've done that I've done in DMC, I am terribly pleased with them. I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing them in DMC. So this is the fabric. What did I say this was? Oh, this is 40 count Thornfield linen. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, this is 40 count Thornfield. Beautiful modeling on this. Probably better. See, the light's coming from my window, so I'm not sure that that's really doing it justice, but it's beautiful modeling on there. So that is what it will be stitched on. And hopefully, with my birthday being the end of the month, I'll be winding down with sewing for my July 1st sale at my Etsy shop. So I'm hoping that I will be able to actually start this on my birthday and not still be wildly sewing to get my number of project rolls and things done to have enough for my sale. So there's that one. That's one of my other futures. And that one I'm pretty well will be started on my birthday. And then I think that I've shown this one before, and every time I see somebody on Facebook or on Instagram that's either working on this or has finished this, I just go crazy and I pull it out again. I go, I've got to start this. And it's a littler piece, but looks like could be quite stitch heavy to a point. There's a lot of motifs on it. Anyway, I don't care one way or the other. This is going to be started sometime this summer, and I've already decided that when this is done, it'll be made into one of my project bags for me. So it's also something else that is encouraging me to make it, because I have been wanting to do that. I have a lot of finished stitch pieces that I could use for project bag for me, but for some reason this one is it's bypassing all the other ones, and this one just screams to me that it needs to be a project bag. So this is a Stitcher's Garden. I know you probably, if you look at Facebook or Instagram at all, you've seen ladies working on this, finishing this, whatever. It grabs my heart. Talk about, being a piece for a stitcher. You couldn't ask for anything else. And because it is shown, I don't know what fabric is it calls for. Let's see. Model was stitched on 28 count linen in Water Lily by Wilchilt. Wilchilt? My tongue's not working today either. So it's like a pale green. And I have this piece that I happen to have in my stash that's called Friendship Green. And it's by Fabrics by Stephanie, and it's a 40 count. Oh, and that looks real blue, but it's not. It's a celery green. Yeah, that's really not showing true to color at all. But great, it's a beautiful color, and I think those floss. I have these flosses that are a Stitcher's Garden by, well, they're Primrose Cottage color conversion. So those are all the colors, and I've never tried these flosses, so that's another thing. I'm just all excited to try that, see how this turns out, and then I'll actually have a way to finish this one, which is 10 extra points, because I won't have to throw it in my pile and say, well, one of these days I'm going to be able to finish this. So that's that. Okay, let's see. That was my plans. I think that is pretty much it for the cross stitch part. I think I've shown you everything I've had out. I am going to talk for a few minutes about stitching bunny bags, because, as I said, my next sale, I stitch all month, and on the first of each month, I put all the items on my Etsy shop, and they will be listed June 1st. They'll be listed at 10 o'clock in the morning, Central Time. I'm here in Wisconsin, so it's Central Time. I have a sneak peek up on Facebook and Instagram under a couple of my names, Stitching Bunny, Judy Stitching Bunny Rubik, my SBB 1951 on Instagram, all of them, or my Etsy shop. Well, they won't show on my Etsy shop, but my Etsy shop is stitchingbunnybags.etsy.com. So there's 26 project rolls that are going up for sale. 13 of them are the extra long, 13 of them are the regular length. And the sneak peeks on the photos, it shows you, both groupings. I'm working on project bags right now, so if I get the project bags done that match some of the extra long, I will have a couple of them listed as sets with the matching project bag. But the matching project bags right now are in just the beginning stages. There's quite a bit of sewing left to do, which has to be done in the next day or two to be able to post them. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but we do have the 26 project rolls that will be up otherwise. The one thing I did want to mention, I've had a lot of questions about, the sizes on, the two different sizes on the needle rolls, project rolls, sorry. The regular ones, and again, I say approximately because I don't always use the same brand of fabrics. It is all quilt shop quality fabric that I use for them. But even different manufacturers, Blackbird Designs are usually smaller, selvage to selvage. Most of them are 45 inches. For some reason, the Blackbirds usually run about only 42. So depending on, how I can cut them, how much shrinkage there is in quilting them, because it's totally quilted, will depend on what the finished size actually turns out to be. So the regular size is roughly 20 inches wide. That's the base I use for the roll. So they're all just about 20 inches, give or take. The regular length one, when you open it and unroll it, it gives you about 20 to 21 inches of length for your piece of Aida, linen, whatever you're using, to fit on that opened up roll, so that you can roll it up and store your pieces that way. The extra long is made to accommodate a fat quarter. So again, it's still the same width, again, give or take, depending on which fabric it is and how much is taken up by the quilting. But they're roughly 20 to 21 inches wide, so you're going to cover your 17, 18, 19, inches on your fat quarter. And lengthwise, they're all just about 30 to 31 inches long, so you're covering your length also. And you could, obviously, you can put smaller pieces in there too, but I wanted, several people had asked me for bigger ones if they, they're working on a big sampler. It's the nicest way to store it while you're working on it or once it's finished before it goes to framing. If you're traveling with it, rather than having to fold it up, keep folding it up, refolding it, sometimes those folds just, are still obvious when you press it. So to avoid that, if it's a masterpiece that you're working on, if it's just a little silly piece that you're working on, it doesn't matter. It's your work. It's important. If you can avoid folding it and ruining all your hard work in laying your stitches properly and then just folding it or, leaving it in the hoop and storing it that way, and having those permanent hoop marks on it, or the hoops are ruining your stitches, that hoop is being, the stitches are being pulled over that hoop. It's a wonderful way to store them. So that's that. And those, I said, are right now. The sneak peeks are on there. You can see all the fabric selections, which ones are the regular ones and which ones are the extra long. So there's that. I also have a project bag that I just finished for me. It's the only one I have finished right now because the other ones are. The only reason this one's done is because it was a scrap or a remnant of fabric that I bought from a fabric store where I was buying a lot of other yardage. And I wanted this fabric so bad in yardage that I could make project bags and rolls out of. All they had left was a half a yard remnant. So I thought, I want it. Give me that half a yard. And I decided that the best thing to do would be to make a project bag for me out of it because I love this fabric. And if I could only make one, it was going to be for me. So this is the fabric. And the reason I'm showing this is because I want to show you how our bags are made. They have the top zipper. They're all fully quilted, back and front. The front piece has interfacing, but it's just a fusible, lightweight fleece, more or less, batting in there. So it's just light, it's soft, and if that's all that the bag was made out of, it would be very floppy. So I like that feeling in the front. However, the back, I use that stiff foam interfacing and quilt through that. And it gives the bag stability. Well, first of all, let me show you the inside of this one. We have drop pins. I just love it. So they're all fully lined, fully quilted, and it really has a nice body to it. It doesn't fold up. I mean, if you hold it at the bottom, it's gonna, But seriously, it's a very sturdy bag. My friend Val has one that she's been using for quite a while, and she stuffs a lot of stuff in hers. So she comes to stitch at my house, she's got that bag stuffed with things, and it's holding up really well. And that's neat for me to see that, after putting all of that stuff in there, she's working on a big piece. She's got a lot of floss. She's got all of her stitching supplies in there with it. So it's really holding up well, and I'm very glad to see that. The other reason that this one was going to be for me is because it has this ribbon that I ordered. Let's see is it going to focus in on that? Anyway, the sewing machine says Bernina on it. And my baby, my favorite, I have 5 sewing machines. My favorite baby is my Bernina that I use for all of when I was quilting full time. And piecing, that's the only machine I would use for my piecing because it is so accurate. I love it. I've loved it. I think I got it shortly after we moved up here to Wisconsin, so it's a good 20 years old. And right now, she isn't with me. She's in the sewing machine hospital because I was whipping along on finishing project bags for last month's sale. And I don't use pins. I use the plastic clips, little project clippy things, because if I have too many pins in here, I wind up bleeding all over everything. I have a tendency to, stick myself all the time, and I'm a bleeder, obviously. So I found those quilting clips and I love them. But when I'm doing the seams, when I get to the point where I have to match, the seams at the top here, excuse me, I like to pin those, and the zipper too. I like to pin those sections so they don't move. The clippies have a tendency to kind of wiggle the fabric out of line. And when I really want my seams to match, I will stick a pin here and there in it. So I was whipping along and forgot that I had put a pin in there, and my needle hit the pin. It hit it just the right way where it broke the needle, obviously, but it also threw my machine timing off. When I changed the needle, it would no longer go down into the machine, into the feed dogs. I tried to fix it. I got it working to where the needle would go down into the bobbin case, but it was still hitting something. It was clanking. So it had to go into the hospital. We have one store here in the Madison area that fixes sewing machines. It's one man, I believe. I don't think he has any helpers. So it was a 6 to 8 week commitment to leave it there so that he could just look at it and fix whatever it needs to be done. It hasn't been overhauled in a long time, and it gets a lot of work. I sew for sometimes 5-6 hours in the morning to work on these items, and then the hand finishing starts after that. So all of it is time consuming, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that it does get a lot of use. I use my backup machines if I have to, if I'm doing something that's just I use my embroidery machine, that can be running while I'm quilting on my Bernina, but I terribly miss it. I have a brother machine that's supposed to be a quilting machine, but it had a walking foot. But something was, I don't remember if that one, anyway, I had trouble getting that to work. I wound up having to buy another walking foot for that so I could use this machine for 6 to 8 weeks to quilt. So I did that, but I miss my Bernina like I would miss my right arm. So hopefully, I think it's been 4 weeks maybe, so hopefully I'll get it back sooner rather than later. I'm figuring it's going to be at least the 8 weeks. I saw the machines that were lined up just in the storefront. This isn't in his back room, the ones that he was working on. So there were, a good 25 of them sitting behind the counter, all different types of machines. So I'm hoping to get my baby back. But at any rate, I wanted to show you the bags. They all have ribbon trim on them. They aren't going to have Bernina ribbon trim on them because, again, that was strictly for me. It's a one of. They will have some type of lace on them and then a matching ribbon, so that it's not just, plain, the front and the back. But I just wanted to explain why there's two different battings in here. I've tried using the foam on both sides to make it really sturdy, but it's too much. It's too much sewing through two of those and then turning it, having lining in there. It doesn't lay right. So I went back to the original plan of using just a regular low ply fleece for the front so that it's soft and pliable, still quilted, but the sturdiness is in the back and it's enough to hold up the bag. So, and keep it well maintained. Okay, so next sale is June 1st, which is this week, Thursday. Again, it's at 10 a.m. Central Time. So make adjustments according to what time zone you're in. We will have at least the 26 project rolls. I'm hoping to have several project bags, a couple that match. So you can, ladies like the set to do the matchy-matchy things for retreats. And you know how we are. We just like to have, the cutest and the best. So I'm trying very hard to get those done. And I think that that's the end of my stitching bag commercial. Again, you can, when the post goes up, it's in my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop is Stitching Bunny Bags, all one word, .etsy.com. That'll take you right to my shop. 10 o'clock on the 1st. everything will be posted at one time because it will all be set up ahead of time. And then I just go in. Actually, I'll put my shop on vacation mode probably this evening, so you won't see anything um, on the Etsy shop at all. But 10 o'clock on the 1st, I take the vacation mode off, and all of the things that are listed will pop up at one time. So you'll be able to see them all. And I think that's it. If you ladies have any questions about that or anything else we talked about, or anything you'd like to see, I didn't do a tip section this time. I had a viewer ask me about flower thread. And this goes back, to the last video. So it was 4 weeks ago. I planned on doing my interpretation of flower thread. I have used flower thread. I love it. I haven't used it recently. I don't really have anything that I have stitched up right now that uses a flower thread, and that's what I wanted to do, is make just a small sampling of the flower thread and DMC next to each other so you could see the difference. Flower thread is thicker. We'll get into all of that. I'm hoping I can do that with the next video because, the first 2 weeks of the month, I'm kind of cruising along, working on my things, but it's not this mass hysteria of the last week of getting everything photographed and listed. So, first 2 weeks of the month are always better for me. So with the next video, I should have that sample made up for you. We can talk about flower thread. I've got a box that's their entire collection, so you can see the colors it's available in, and we'll go into all of that in detail. But if there's something tip-wise, something you have a question about, I am a long-time stitcher, but I am by no means an expert. I've stitched a lot of things. I've taken a number of classes. Those were a number of years ago, though. But I have my way of doing things. I do stitch in a hoop. I only use a hoop, and I only use hoops that are, I can't really say antique, but they are wooden hoops that are maybe at least, 50 years old or so, have been used by little girls, used by women in the past. And I just feel that that brings so much more to my stitching because I know how much I love using those wooden ones, and how, they're being passed on from somebody who's used them in the past. And I love that part of stitching, which is why I love samplers so much. So that's that. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your lovely comments. I'm getting close to 4,000 subscribers. I think at last count I was maybe 20 or 30 people off from 4,000. So if you like what you've seen, if you're interested in watching more, if you subscribe and you mark the little bell, it'll notify you when I have a new Flosstube up. I'm hoping, again, as I said, every 2 weeks. I'm trying to get back on schedule. My husband pretty much will nag me and say, what day are you recording on this weekend? So he does keep tabs on me. But life happens, and I apologize for this long span. I never meant it to go this long. But as I told you people all in the beginning, I'm technically challenged. And when we started having trouble with the phone, and my husband couldn't, come up with a solution for me either, we thought we were fixing it by getting the camera. Didn't work. So the tablet, at least it looks like it's going to be okay. I'm going to try and upload it now. We'll see what happens. But I would appreciate any new subscribers if you want to subscribe my channel, leave me a comment. I love reading them. I answer as many of them as I can. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. Hope it's pretty as it is here. And as always, stitch every day. Love you, girls. Thanks for stopping in. Bye-bye. See you next time.